Hello everyone, so today's video is about making offerings to Kali. Now, the Divine Mother, she is very dear to me. I am a Shakta. I think that she is a Brahman. I think that she is the ultimate reality. I think that everything is made up of wombs. And I could go on and on about my connection to her and the philosophy behind being a Shakta or behind being a devotee of the Divine Mother. But this video is not especially complicated. This is just a video about how I make little offerings to the Divine Mother, to Ma Kali, my mother, and the one who is dearest and closest to my heart. Now, I have some things here. So the first thing that I have is this black gold incense. You can find this at some Indian grocery stores, but a lot of time you'll have to look for something like Vivek Flowers. There's one in Irving. I think there's one in McKinney in Texas. You'll have to look for other spiritual supply shops to find this incense, as well as a number of other things that I'm about to offer. But this particular incense, I'm a fan of it because it's very rich. It's not great for meditation because it is so rich. It is very bombastic to the senses. At the same time, it's subtle enough. At the same time, it's subtle enough to actually be okay when you're meditating. But mainly, it's got to be very floral. It's got to be very much like an offering to the Divine Mother, and also still not be overpowering. Because a lot of things with Ma Kali, she's a very subtle goddess. She's a very subtle mother. And while you want to make very, very fragrant, very extravagant offerings, you might not want it to be super overpowered. You might not want it to be something like a Shiva incense, which is very pungent and also very deep when it comes to, in a spiritual sense, as far as the energy goes. It really digs in deep. Ma Kali is a little bit more subtle. While she is the power here and with us, she is also, she is a mother, and she is a subtle teacher. So, black gold incense. I'm going to place that on my burner here. I have some other things I'm going to be offering, including these lotuses. So I already have a lotus right here in front of her that I opened earlier, but I have two more lotuses that I'll be offering. Now, I don't usually put these in water so that they're like in a vase kind of thing where they have water that until they'll last a while. But this time I'm going to put one in water and see how it goes. So, they're not usually meant to be put in water. When you're thinking of flower offerings, it's more like here you go, mother. Like, this is a meal, and when it wilts, when it's done for the next day, it's kind of like you're taking away the meal, you're taking away the offering. But I decided to keep one in a little bit of a small metal vase here. See, this is going to serve as a vase. It's like a little sauce cup. That's all you really need. But as far as lotuses go, this is kind of how I open them. See, here's a stem right here, and there's always a little cotton thing around it with a rubber band, so that has some moisture to keep it. And usually you want to keep it in a fridge before you make the offering, which I have. And so you kind of, what my friend taught me, actually fairly recently, months back, was, kind of tap the top of it. And it doesn't look very remarkable until you open it. And this is very indicative of how Ma Kali is, because she looks a certain way on the surface, and once you get to know her, she's very different. She's a goddess of many layers, but as you get closer to her, you start to see how much light is in who she is. Now, she's usually thought of as like a dark goddess, or a goddess that is very intimidating. But once you get past all the layers, or at least even just a couple of the layers, like in this lotus here, she is actually the root of compassion and kindness. And if you want to call her, if we're thinking about it in a very Vedantic way, she is the part of Godhead. She is part of God and everything's connected to us, and we're connected to everything. She is a part of God that is compassion itself. She is the loving, and she is also described as every avatar, whether it be Christ or Krishna or Siddhartha Gautama, the Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha. I know those sound like a lot of names, are all the same person. Or they be Narayana or other avatars. All those avatars, Christ, Buddha, or other avatars, they're all a drop of the Divine Mother. They're all a drop of Ma Kali. And that is the compassion and the love that she is descending to illuminate and guide us forward. at various times, in various places, and for various purposes, but it's always to guide us to the realization of our own divinity and the complete moksha and enlightenment of our very being, that we wake up and stop suffering, that we stop suffering in ignorance, and we stop suffering in definitely not just physical pain, but stop suffering ignorance, stop suffering not realizing that everything is one, and not realizing that we can live together, and that peace is the example, it's not the exception to the rule. And once peace and love is the example, and enough people make the example, it can transform the world into a beautiful lotus flower. Out of the muck and grime that the lotus grows in, blooms of quite beautiful flower. And this particular flower, we're gonna break part of the stem. Might have broken a little too much of it, but maybe not. Nope. Fits just perfectly, actually. Just a little bit of water down there. And this lotus is not for me, so it doesn't really matter if it's pointing towards us, I guess both of us in the sense, but Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha. Om. Divine Mother, my mother, this lotus is for you, Chama. And it's as simple as that. And we can open up another one. But before I do that, these are jasmine rose petals, rose buds. Now, these are I also bought these at Vivek Flowers, and they are very, very vibrant with the smell of jasmine. But you're kind of surprised, because obviously they don't grow on the string, but they're placed on a string. You're kind of surprised about how jasmine-y jasmine is, but it's a beautiful fragrance, and it's like I said earlier, vibrant enough and floral enough, and just really, really beautiful enough, yet still subtle enough to be for the Divine Mother. And that's kind of what the jasmine rose buds look like, or the buds look like. Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha. Om. Divine Mother, my source, my supreme reality. I offer these flowers to you, that you may enjoy the scent and be garlanded with their loveliness, just as you are, Makari. Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha. Om. And we have one more lotus here. And I'll go ahead and change camera angles so that you get kind of a better view of what I'm doing here. The Divine Mother is vast. She is wonderful. She can be quite ferocious when she is defending her children. Her forms are endless. Her identity is as plentiful as there are mothers in the world, and as various. It can be confusing to many. Her vastness and the nature of compassion itself, and all its multiplicity and variation. But we offer and we love. We are each unique. And the Divine Mother provides us with variety. You might want to move some of the exterior petals if they're a little wrinkled. But as you can see, the petals are fairly durable on the inside, just as reliable as the more inner layers of the Divine Mother. Jaima, Jaima, Jaima. This is for you, Mother. Another lotus. I love you, Divine Mother. You are my mother first and foremost. Jai Ma. Now, as you can see, some of that oil kind of leaked down onto the puja cloth, but that's why we have these puja cloths, to kind of soak that up if it doesn't work out. So, I'm going to light this. And once again, this is this oil, this Sri Vali Pancha Deepam oil. I haven't used this before. This is kind of a learning process. That's why I didn't realize how much it would actually drip. Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha Om. 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 This candle is for you, Divine Mother. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha Om. Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha Om. Om Namah Shivaya Om. Jai Ma, Hala Shiva. Ganga Jal for the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha Om. Divine Mother, this Ganga Jal is for you. The spirit and soul of an ancient river, whose source you are. Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha Om. Om Namah Shivaya Om. Shiva, this Ganga Jal is for you. Hara Shiva, Hara 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 Shiva. Jai Ma, Hara Shiva. Jai Ma, Hara Shiva. Jai Ma, Hara Shiva. Divine Mother, this rose water is for you. Om Kling Kali Kiye Namaha Om. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. I love you, Divine Mother. Divine Mother, I offer you these coins. With this light and this flora and these scents, Divine Mother, I praise you as I love you. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Om Kling Kali Kye Namaha. Om. 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 Om Kling Kali Kye Namaha. 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 Om. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. This oil is burning quite well, and I find the scent very subtle, yet very sharp in energy. I'm all of this specifically dedicated to Ma Kali. And of course we have the lotuses. Those lotuses, once again, they only last about a day. I think the one in the water will last longer. And that's a bell, very simple bell that I just use throughout the offerings. Small spoon, and just for safe measure, this is the oil that I'm using. Very good. The ghee gets kind of clumpy sometimes. Gunga jaw. It's about $5 for that amount. It's water from the river Gunga for offerings. Rose water. And some of these coins here. Babaji. And yes, so I have one candle for her and one candle for Shiva. I have Shiva Linga right here for, to represent Shiva right beside Ma Kali. But this has been my offerings to Ma Kali and kind of how I do some basic offerings. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found this useful. And I hope that you found our mother quite beautiful as she receives these offerings. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Om Kling Kali Kye Namaha.